it's Rachel with Ella, and today she and I are going to practice walking loosely on the leash. Now I know you guys have been over this with Nicole in class, so we're just going to do some practice with the same methods. Now, I have Ella in this area. All of her doggy friends are on that side, and the gate to go out is on that side. So I think Ella will have adequate temptation on either side of her to pull on the leash off. And so we are just going to use this as an opportunity to practice her leash manners while walking. So just to review the two methods we use, I call them the back method and the reverse method. So the back method is when you're walking with Ella, she starts pulling, you plant your feet right where you are and pat your leg or snap your fingers and say, Ella, back. And she comes back to you like that, and there's some nice slack in the leash. Now the other method is when she starts pulling, you turn 180 degrees, you give the leash a little bit of a wiggle, and you say, Ella, this way. And just turn around like that. And so that way, she has to play catch up to get back to you. And I find this method is really useful if she is lagging or pulling to either side, because it's super easy just to turn from there and say, Ella, this way. And get her following you like that. I also heard that Ella has some attention span problems. She sometimes can't really focus and just gives the googly eyes like she's giving me right now and just wants to be pet. So I think that the reverse method might work better. That's because with the back method, Ella, back, you have to get her attention and call her back. And so it's kind of up to her to listen to you. But with the reverse method, you turn around and you start going off in the other direction. And so that gives her a lot of temptation and motivation to follow you. And also you're pulling more on the leash. So just another quick tip before we get started on our real practicing. With the leash, what you do is you put your thumb through the loop and then you make a fist like this. That way if she is pulling, it doesn't hurt your hand like this. You have a nice secure grip that no matter which way she pulls, it won't slip out of your hand. And also it doesn't hurt your hand at all. Then you can control the slack on the leash with your other hand. So this is what you should look like when walking her. So even though we might get off camera, I'm just going to be walking Ella back and forth, and we're going to be practicing the stop, Ella back, or the turn around, Ella this way. A lot of times it's instinct just to try to pull back on her, but try to avoid that and try to use one of these two methods. So we're going to just start walking forward. Ella back. Good girl. Ella back. Good girl. Come here. Good job, Ella. Good girl. Ella back. Good girl. Okay, so she's doing well. She is super excited just to be out and on the leash, and she is responding really well to the back method. She seems to mostly be pulling towards the gate, so I'll try to angle the camera a little bit that way. Okay, so here we go again. Remember, give her the full length of the leash. For loose leash walking, we don't usually use treats. The treat is we get to continue walking. So here we go. Ella back. Good girl. Ella back. Good girl. Good girl. Ella this way. Good girl, Ella. Ella back. Good girl. Ella back. Good girl. Okay, she's doing very well. So, good girl, Ella, good girl. If you notice with the back method, after walking her there and back to here a couple of times, we were able to walk longer without her pulling. And so I wasn't having to use it as much, and we were getting more distance. So that shows me that it was sinking in. I can see where you have difficulty with getting Ella to walk loosely on the leash. She's very excited and is kind of all over the place. So she's not necessarily charging hard ahead in one direction. She's just kind of going all over. And so I could see how that could be frustrating and kind of difficult to walk if you have to throw the leash around all over. What I would suggest for that is maybe a slightly shorter leash. It looks like this is a 6 foot. Maybe try a 4 foot, or if you want, tie a loop in your leash, kind of like this, and then that gives her a little less room. Now, remember that you still want her to have enough room to walk around. This is not a heel where she has to be right next to you, or where you don't give her a lot of leash. You still give her enough leash to explore. You just want her to respect walking on it. So maybe try those things out. Now we're gonna try the reverse method a little bit more. So come on, Ella. Ella, this way. Ella, this way. We got farther that time than we did before. Good girl, Ella. Good job. Okay, Ella, this way. All right, so she did really well there on this last pass. We were able to get all the way to the door without her pulling. Now, I had opened the door, so there would be a little bit more temptation when we go there again. The wind just closed it, but I will try to prop the door open so that it's open and we can challenge her a little bit more this way. So, Ella. Ella, this way. Good girl. Good job, Ella. Okay, now we have that door open, so hopefully that'll provide a bit more temptation for Ella, so we can get more practice with the loose leash walking. Ella, this way. Good girl. Good girl, Ella. Ella, this way. Good job. Ella, this way. Good girl, Ella. Good girl. All right, that was great. We were able to go all the way there and all the way through the door without her pulling, so that is really good to see. Now, I know that her calming down and getting considerably better in just a 10-minute period is a little different here than it is for you when you're trying to take her out on a walk to either get her exercise, or if you're going over to a friend's house with, where you have an actual destination in mind. Because Ella is being exposed to new things. There are people walking by, driving by, on bicycles, all of that. So I know it's a little bit different. So don't expect her to get a whole lot better in just a few minutes like this. But I would suggest taking her to a park or something and walking around in a small area, maybe about this size, and just going back and forth, back and forth. That way, Ella can kind of get used to one area, and she can walk nicely on a leash, because even right now we're able to walk around pretty much this whole area with a nice loose leash without her pulling my arm out of its socket. And so that's really good. It's because she's calmed down a bit and she's used to this area. So instead of constantly having that new stimulation of being somewhere new with every few steps, it might be good for her to get used to one area and really master walking loose on a leash there, so that she can succeed in that. You praise her, show her that she is doing a good job, and then you can slowly apply it to going longer distances, bigger spaces, with her always walking nicely on a leash. So I hope this helps. This was Rachel and Ella, and we were working on loose leash walking.